They just didn't feel like I was an actor for whom we should pay any respect to. This conceptual idea of diversity and all that, it still has a long way to go. Systemic racism don't change like that anytime soon. I mean, I'm still struggling trying to make a living.
After 30 years in this business,
I'm still struggling financially to make a living. Definitely underpaid.
Wait a minute. Let me make sure I'm understanding you correctly. This Hollywood actor who I have never heard of, even though Hollywood claims that he's a huge star. Djimon Hounsou, who has been working in Hollywood apparently since 1990, nominated for multiple Oscars, even though he's not qualified because his name isn't Oscar. This dude, who has a net worth of over $4 million, he expects me to believe that he is a starving artist? He expects me to believe that he is struggling financially because of mythical racism? Mythical racism in Hollywood, the land of the victim, the industry that automatically gives jobs and millions of dollars to anyone belonging to a marginalized group. And you expect me to believe that mythical racism is the reason you're a huge embarrassing failure? This is the main problem with Hollywood. Whenever you're addressing a problem, the first step is admitting that you have a problem. But instead of Hollywood admitting that they are the problem, they continue to blame everyone else but themselves. And because of their unwillingness to address the problem, Hollywood is on life support and on the verge of collapse. Even though it's kind of known as a major dump today, Detroit was once one of the best cities in America. In the 1950s and 1960s, Detroit was booming. Motown Records, the city was considered to be a cultural and fashion hub. The automotive industry in America, it was based in Detroit. For decades, the city was thriving. So, how did Detroit go from being a major city to being a major dump? I'm sure if I looked into it deep enough, I would figure out that doofus Democrats were somehow the problem. But there were two main reasons that Detroit eventually reached the point where they filed for bankruptcy. In the 1960s, there were racial tensions in the city. There were riots in the late 60s that caused white people to abandon Detroit. But the main reason Detroit declined is because they were heavily reliant on one industry. Once automotive jobs were either shipped overseas or advancements in technology eliminated most of the positions that involved manual labor, once the automotive industry declined, Detroit sunk along with the Titanic. Here we are 60 years later, same thing is happening in Hollywood. Yesterday, we talked about the mass exodus in the People's Republic of California. Millions of people are trading beautiful weather for the miserable weather in Texas and Florida because they no longer want to live in a beautiful, expensive dump. Last year, the People's Republic lost over 175,000 jobs. As it turns out, many of the newly unemployed, they're in Hollywood, where the industry has lost 30% of its jobs in the last 3 years alone. But that's okay. Every industry is cyclical, right? I'm sure Hollywood is going through a temporary downturn and they will eventually recover. Right? It's going to be damn near impossible for Hollywood to recover because doing business has become so expensive in the People's Republic, even Hollywood is abandoning Hollywood. Make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. Let's get to a business that is not struggling because, unlike Hollywood, they offer an amazing product. My good friends at Sugar Mountain Trading. My uncle called me around Thanksgiving. He's a military veteran, served in the Gulf War in the early 90s, but as he's gotten older, been dealing with various health-related issues. Doctors had him on pain management, had him taking all this medication just to get him to sleep at night, most of which wasn't working. Once the meds wore off, he was tossing and turning all night, plus he was building up a tolerance to it. My aunt bought him some CBD lotion from Sugar Mountain Trading, wanted him to try it out to see if it would work. My uncle applies the CBD lotion every night before he goes to bed. He is getting the best sleep that he has gotten in years. Doesn't even take the pain medication anymore because he doesn't need it. Over the holidays, one of my longtime viewers reached out to me telling me how the CBD from Sugar Mountain Trading alleviated his back pain. He's been dealing with back pain for years, couldn't find anything that would work. Bought a bottle of CBD lotion from Sugar Mountain Trading. 20 or so minutes later, back pain gone. I have got countless stories like this from friends, viewers, family. Everyone tells me the same thing. They cannot believe this stuff actually works. Hell, there's a reason Sugar Mountain Trading has been with me here on the channel for 18, 19 months now. My audience keeps buying their CBD because Sugar Mountain Trading is the real deal. All CBD products offered at Sugar Mountain Trading, 100% natural, 100% free of THC. So click the link in the description or the pinned comment below. Use my promo code BTL25, BTL25. Receive 25% off your first purchase with Sugar Mountain Trading. Headline at the Wall Street Journal. See how Hollywood's job market is collapsing. Take a look at this graph. This shows the employment numbers in Hollywood since 2015. Now, as you can see, Hollywood jobs are dropping faster than man pants at the Butt Bongo Festival. But jobs are not the only thing that is being lost. Days of on-location production in Los Angeles, they have declined by 65%. In 2021, there were 18,560 days of production in Hollywood. 4 years later, that number was down to a cool 6,600. The question is why? It's because they're woke, damn it! Hollywood embraced the woke wiener, and they're paying the consequences. Yeah, that explains why Hollywood is losing billions of dollars at the box office. That explains why America is rejecting their toxic turds. But it doesn't really explain why jobs are leaving Hollywood and being relocated to other places. You see, Hollywood is escaping the communist policies that they publicly support. Remember Bob De Niro last weekend, also known as Robert? Remember how he was supporting the communists who were protesting a mythical king in New York City? Hollywood jobs. They are leaving Hollywood because it has become prohibitively expensive to film there. As it turns out, communists in Hollywood, they're actually capitalist. Hell, the challenge on MTV, they have been filming overseas for decades. They film seasons in Thailand, Iceland, South America, Africa, Australia. They film everywhere but America. And the reason they do this is because there are far less regulations and cheaper labor. Remember in the 90s when the vast majority of TV shows were filmed in front of a live studio audience in a television studio in Burbank? The last time I was in Los Angeles, I toured Warner Brothers Studios in Burbank, sat on the couch in the coffee shop that was used for the set of Friends, saw the Full House set along with stages of dozens of other shows. Can't do that today, because shows are now being filmed in England, Canada, Australia, even places like Hungary. And the reason they're being filmed there is because those countries offer tax incentives. They also provide a 50% discount on production cost. It has gotten so bad in Hollywood that the doofus mayor of Los Angeles, she is now offering similar incentives to bring production back to the People's Republic of California. The problem is, It's too late. The damage has already been done. You know, I think another problem in Hollywood, and this is more from a consumer perspective, streaming has really damaged the way that we consume television. Major shows no longer have the same impact. They don't feel as important. And the reason they don't feel as important is because we're no longer watching them together. Remember the Thursday night lineup on NBC in the 90s, or TGIF, the Friday night lineup on ABC? Friends, Seinfeld. They were the biggest shows in America. If you didn't watch them on Thursday night, tough shit. You missed that episode and you had nothing to talk about at school or at work the next day. We no longer have appointment television because everything is on demand. Shows aren't bringing people together. They're no longer a topic of conversation. But Uncle KC, you can still talk about shows on Reddit. Reddit? What normal person wants to surround themselves with the wanker spankers on that platform? Reddit is filled with people with blue hair who have tattoos of a supersized wiener on their cheek. Plus, it's just not the same. Having conversations online, it's not the same as having conversations in the office or at happy hour. Hollywood did the same thing that the NFL is doing right now. They took a system that worked. They took a system that didn't need to be fixed, and they completely dismantled it. Instead of shows being released weekly, streaming services, they release the entire season in one day. What ends up happening, the show is popular for a week, then everyone forgets about it. By the time season 2 is released a year later, the show's been forgotten. To me, it was better when episodes were released weekly from September to May. But what the hell do I know? I'm not the one responsible for dismantling a multi-billion-dollar industry. You combine all of this with the fact that Hollywood is now being run by people who spend their lives on Reddit. It's not hard to figure out why the industry is struggling. Not hard to figure out why Hollywood is on life support. And instead of diagnosing and treating the problem, instead of firing people who spent 4 years of high school getting their heads dunked into the toilet, Hollywood continues to blame you. They continue to blame everyone but themselves. Sound off in the comments below. I'll see you guys later.